Hi, Gemini. How are you? Happy New Year. Welcome to 2022 and welcome to your January 2022 horoscope. I hope you're doing well. Thanks for coming back to the channel. I'm super happy to have you here. So, Gemini, how are you doing? Uh, Gemini has a lot going on this month. Actually, Gemini's had a lot going on for a while, but all of this Capricorn energy is landing in your eighth house of what's underneath, your eighth house of transformation, your eighth house of death, and very heavy financial commitments, shared resources. So anybody that you owe money to, anybody that you have money in common with. It's a really deep house. All the house of your psyche. It's the house of what's mystical and the house of the occult. So it's everything that's underneath. All the things that you keep hidden, the things that you may want to keep secret. You keep it close to the vest. So it's a lot of things churning around in a very serious way, Capricorn energy, that you're keeping to yourself. And that is difficult. It's difficult as a Gemini to have those things churning around and not be able to communicate it out or not feel safe enough to communicate it out. So, with the Sun in Capricorn, which is lighting up that area of life, and then we also have Pluto and Venus in there, which have been conjunct, and Venus is retrograde, it's pulling back in those very, very deep things that we are having to consider in our lives. We could be looking at our financial situation and having to review how things that we've done in the past have affected us now. Our intimate relationships could be coming back to us for review. We might feel like they're not stable. We might feel like we don't really know which way things are going to go, a lot of uncertainty. And that house also can cause a lot of fear. But again, it's fear that is underneath, it's fear that we keep to ourselves. So it can cause a lot of anxiety. So I hope that you're getting through that, and at the very least, writing things down and getting it out on paper. The Capricorn energy brings it into you in a very serious way, under serious review. So that's the house that Capricorn is highlighting for Gemini, and that's really tough. And Mars and Sagittarius is moving through the seventh house of relationships. Mars and Sag can be a little bit chaotic. It can want to break away from the norm, move towards what it believes in. We could see things kind of, a little bit wonky and going back and forth in the area of our relationships and not really have a feeling that we're on stable ground. We aren't sure if people are leaving or if they're staying or if we want to stay or we want to go. The house of relationships has been a little bit chaotic for us. Mars will move into Capricorn in that eighth house where the other Capricorn energy sits, and it'll become a very serious consideration for us in terms of what we want to do with everything that has been flying around in our relationship sector. So it could mean things are going to go, there's a breaking point, or it's time for us to sit down and really put things into a very clear and logical format or picture for ourselves, and make sure that we're standing on firm ground. None of that is easy to deal with. None of that is easy to deal with. Mercury, like I said, has been in Capricorn too. So, or I don't even know if I said that, but Mercury is in Capricorn as well, has been. But it is now moving into Aquarius. And that will give us a little bit of inspiration, I hope, give us a little bit of forward thinking, or at least, some kind of charge in terms of moving things the way that we want them to go, in a new and different way. Certainly could use a little bit of a push there coming out of that eighth house where we're sort of keeping things under wraps and, possibly stressing out about things or just really building things, within ourselves, in a very strong and stable way. It's a very difficult house to unpack. So again, I hope that you are doing well. Uranus also will go direct after being in retrograde. And that energy, let me just double check here and see. Uranus has been, oh, it's traveling in our 12th house, and I should know that because I'm a Gemini. So that's everything that's in our subconscious mind. That is our connection to the divine. That's our intuition, our psychic abilities. With Uranus sitting in there, we could be having a lot of interesting dreams, or a lot of things come to us intuitively. With it in retrograde, we might be keeping it to ourselves, or not really able to understand yet exactly what that means. That has been squaring Saturn in our ninth house of what we believe, of what we want to learn. And Saturn wants us to be able to do that in a responsible way. It does take time for that to develop. And with that square, it's sort of like a little bit of tension, like we're having these intuitive times of inspiration, or maybe dreams that are, trying to give us messages, just different things happening in our subconscious mind, in that 12th house, of what is buried deep inside of our minds and our subconscious and our lives. So when Uranus goes direct, we might be able to make some sense of that, or something that we couldn't put our finger on, in terms of where we stand and what we believe in, reveals itself and becomes clear to us, or it causes a change for us that we might have needed to experience, but we either weren't sure how we would break out and do that, or even if we could. That the 12th house is the house of what we don't always want to deal with. It can be the house of self-undoing. So we might want to keep it packed in there, and not deal with it, and then when Uranus goes direct, something may push us forward and, help us deal with it. Very, very interesting energy to deal with all the way around for Gemini. Has been for a while, and in the month of January, with all of that Series Capricorn energy in our eighth house, it sort of brings us down to a place where we might feel some internal anxiety, or at least just a very, very serious level of what do we want to do with our lives, and how do we want to unpack the things that have been hidden for so long. Mercury will go into retrograde on January 14th, as it moves into Aquarius, and it will retrograde back. Mercury in Aquarius in the ninth house, which is, the house of expansion and higher learning and what we believe in and our truths. We might have a difficult time, or we might feel a delay, or things might go a little haywire, with us being able to reach out there and grab what it is that we want to be doing, or, help us, we might not be able to expand things quite the way we want to. The retrograde will move out through February, and we want to use that time to sort of, take a look and review, our thoughts and our way of communicating, and what we really want to do, and not jump the gun. Mercury retrograde, during that time, we want to sort of just kind of sit back and not do anything permanent. Just use that time to review, and our thoughts, and think about what it is that we want to say. So a lot going on for Gemini in the month of January, on top of what's been going on for Gemini for a while. So relationships might come to a culmination in the eighth house. Financial situations, we might find ourselves coming out on the other end of this, in a very different place, and hopefully it'll be a place that finds you in a place where your feet are planted more firmly on the ground, and you're actually at a place that is true to you, and will give you a solid foundation in terms of where you want to go with your life. So hang in there, Gemini. I'd like to hear about how that's going for you, how all of this Capricorn energy is moving in and around you, how you're handling it. As a Gemini, we like things to be light and fun, and we like to be able to move about freely, and Capricorn energy kind of pulls us back in, which we all need, but sometimes it takes a little getting used to for us Geminis. I'm a Gemini too, and it's a little bit of like, sit down in the chair and you want to move, but it's time for you to sit and figure things out. So I hope that you gain some clarity this month, and that all of the astrological energies are forever in your favor. And if you are interested in taking a look at your personal birth chart, and how things might be going for you going into 2022, or just take a look at your astrological energies in terms of what your path is, for your soul, or just in your life in general, get a hold of me at GeminiFire65@msn.com. I'd love to read for you. All of my readings are 30% off until January 30th. And if you just send me an email, we'll connect and get that set up. Okay, Gemini, with that being said, I hope that you have a great rest of the month, and I will see you soon. Thanks so much.